the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Turn 3 Racing Network, as tonight we're here with the OP Racing Premier Series as they bring you the Bumpy Road 250. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. My name is KR Stolpus, and I will be your host throughout all 250 miles of racing action here tonight. And in the booth with me is none other than the oh-so-handsome, gosh, I wish I could get his phone number, that is Dawson Wise.
Yeah, good to be back with you, KR. It's fun. I've loved this season. It's been a lot of fun. And hey, just for reference, if you wanted my number, all you had to do was ask.
Isn't it like 98?
Sure.
On the race car, isn't your number 98?
Yeah.
Depends on what race car you're in.
Not really as much anymore, no. I think I've kind of transitioned all of them over to 98 now, for the most part.
Oh, cool. So then I do have your number.
Yeah, generally. Something like that.
Nice. I just need the other 5 digits.
Yeah.
All right, well, qualifying is underway. Sebastian Marin on top of the leaderboard with a 52.18. Anthony English, Gabe Butler, your top 3. John Makara in the 71, making his way off of turn number 4. We're going to see how Makara stacks up in this one. Adam Kilday into 11th place. And Makara across the line. And he ends up in 12th for the moment. Dawson, who are you watching for this qualifying run?
I watched a couple of the guys that we're used to seeing up front. Sebastian Marin, Anthony English, they're always up front. Gabe Butler, always very good as well. I was going to watch Kevin Freis, but I don't see him. I don't think he is in the field tonight.
He is not in the field tonight.
Which I think he was going to be my pick, but so much for that, I guess. It's a tough break for him to not make the field.
Yeah, he's not in the field tonight, but his team does have a plan, but everyone has a plan till the green flag drops, so we'll see how it works out for him. So with that being said, guys, we are going to go to the national anthem. No one go anywhere. We'll be back with tonight's starting lineup.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Turn 3 Racing Network as we get ready to roll out for tonight's Bumpy Road 250. So let's get right into our starting lineup for tonight's race. On the inside of row number 1 with a quick time of 52.184 out of Dale Cup Games Stable. That is the driver of the 23, Sebastian Marin. To his outside, that is the 44 of Anthony English from Vendetta Motorsports. Row number 2, the 88 of Gabe Butler from Team Bootnaka, and the 62 of Les Levy from Checkered Flag Motorsports. Row number 3 going to be made up of the 14 of Vicente Guerrero and the 66 of Bubba Winningham. Row 4, the 04 of Mark Mann and the 47 of Richard Kuhn, last week's race winner. Row 5 will be the 071 of Eric Laurie and the 6 of Kody Neagles.
Row 6 will be the 59 of John Kara, and his outside the 40 of Pete deBorja. Row number 7 will be Josh Ball in the 1 and Adam Kilday in the 85. Row number 8, Travis Elliott in the 51, and Kacey Gilchrist, another one of our playoff drivers, in the 31. Sean Makara in the 71 lines up 17th with Zach Fritsch to his outside in the 18th position, and rounding out the top 20, Zach Workman and Nate Warren.
In row number 11, the 53 of Dave Hunt and the 95 of Jim Mayer. Row 12 will be Matt Wagner and Sean Stevens. Row 13, David Overstreet and Alex Green. And the final 2 cars to start here tonight, that is Jimmy Reynolds and Rob Connors. 28 cars to the field, but Zach Fritsch did miss the call to the grid. We'll see if the 12, and he is sitting on pit road, so a late start for him, but he is out there and he will get rolling with the rest of this field after the green flag drops. He's going to need help from a caution though, Dawson.
Yeah, another unfortunate start for Fritsch this week. I mean, we've seen him have problems the whole playoffs really from the start of the race, so another hurdle for him to tackle here early on, and we'll see if we see him back at the front here pretty quick.
Travis Elliott in the 51, he overcame a hurdle as well. He was having a hard time getting his truck fired up for practice earlier today, but good to see him out here. All right, so here we go. That Chevy Silverado gonna drop down onto pit road, and we're gonna fire off here at the Legacy Daytona track for what is our second race of 3 in the championship 12. Here we go, green flag is in the air. Away we go for the first time here tonight.
These drivers having to tackle the bumpy surface that is Legacy Daytona. It's obviously a lot more challenging, a lot more uncomfortable than Talladega and the newer Daytona configuration we're used to them seeing. It's going to be a lot harder to see 3 wide, a lot harder to make those big aggressive moves a lot of guys like to make. And we'll see what they can pull off. Marin leads off too, but here comes Gabe Butler with Vicente Guerrero in tow.
Butler in the 88, trying to get the race win here tonight. We talked about Kevin Freis not being here. Butler is needing a win. He is below the cut line, and he wants to get that win so that it does not come down to him and Freis to try and make the win next week. But it is what it is. The plans are always great to have. That green flag drops, and then everybody gets in the way of that plan.
Absolutely, and you can tell the plan for certain drivers is be aggressive. Kody Neagles, Peter deBorja, making the third line work already. They've picked up spots. They're 4th and 5th on the outside now. Coming forward are those 2 drivers as they look to widen their gap to the cut line as well. They're 17 points above the line here coming into this race. Both drivers tied at 4th in points, but they'd obviously like to make that gap bigger, get some stage points, maybe even get a race win. Neagles to deBorja on the move early. Now here comes Guerrero to the bottom in the 14.
On board with the 0-4 of Workman as he pushes the 14 to the front of this field. Vicente Guerrero, the Italian stallion, finding himself leading the charge on the inside lane, but for the moment the 88 of Gabe Butler has the momentum as they go through the tri-oval. Butler leading the lap, but Dave Hunt in the 53 setting fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, so far the guy's a little bit further back, obviously going to get some draft, be able to run a little bit faster laps. Butler is working with two of the best in the business at pushing right now, Guerrero and Marin, so he's able to control the lanes very well. Butler, obviously very, very solid on the Legacy Daytona. Sebastian Marin, solid everywhere we go. So is Gabe Butler, but Gabe Butler seems to find a different gear when we get to this racetrack. He is making it work so far, leading the race. Marin English up on the outside. Les Levy's trying to spoil the party a little bit tonight in the 62. He's just outside the top 5. And then you'll find the man on the move so far. That is Kody Neagles, up 3 spots from where he started and still on the move. Lap 4 goes on the board.
Problems for the 00 of Rob Connors. He is on pit road. Not sure what he has encountered that has put him there, but Connors is on pit road after doing 2 laps. Zach Fritsch, we need to check in on him, the driver of the 12, the only one who started from pit road, so he is riding around all by himself. He needs the help of a caution to get back into this, but unfortunately, let's take a quick look at our race info and you'll see there are no cautions for stages here on Monday night, but our stages are still awarded points at the completion of lap 25 and 50. So, yeah, Zach Fritsch gonna need all the help he can to get back into this, and that would be a caution. That's the only help he needs.
Yeah, he needs the benefit of a crash. He needs some of his competitors to crash, and so far, still pretty calm. It may not look like it, but definitely still somewhat calm here at the front of the field. Oh my goodness, Sebastian Marin, right as I say it's calm at the front of the field, he throws a big block on the 88 of Gabe Butler, and they keep it going straight somehow, but a tense moment there on the exit of turn number 2, but it's not the start Zach Fritsch needed. He's only 11 points above the cut line going into the night. He did not need this hurdle early on, and the guys behind him in points, like a Gabe Butler, like Adam Kilday, Sean Makara, and others are looking at this going, all right, this is an opportunity. Let's stay calm up here, boys, and try to put Zach Fritsch behind the 8 ball a little bit.
So the 23 is Sebastian Marin from Dale Cup Games, battling with the 88 of Gabe Butler from Team Bootnaka Esports. And these two guys have very different plans for how this race needs to go. But regardless, they both want to win it.
Oh, you always want to win for momentum. Obviously, with no playoff guy winning last week's race, locking in the round of 8. Obviously, you'd love to win, be the first playoff guy locked into that round and take the pressure off yourself for next week. But you're right. Gabe Butler, 2 points below the cut line. He needs to sell out on stage points. Sebastian Marin just looking to kind of widen his gap with a 33-point buffer. Not a lot of pressure on the driver of the 23 tonight. He just needs a solid run. Really hardly needs stage points unless a bunch of guys around him get a bunch of stage points. But it's a good enough buffer where you're not stressing as much. And it definitely helps. And I've experienced this as a driver. If you have a little bit bigger gap, you're not as nervous. You know, you're not constantly thinking, well, where do I need to be for stage points? Where do I need to be for this and that and the other? And you can kind of just ride around and do your thing. That's what Sebastian Marin's doing. He looks comfortable so far.
Gabe Butler having a good showing right now as well. So we mentioned that the Team Bootnaka Esports has a plan. Kevin Freis, Gabe Butler, Peter deBorja, all championship contenders. Kevin Freis is not here tonight. So the plan out of this team is for Gabe Butler to win the race, Peter deBorja to score enough points that he doesn't drop below the cut line, and then the second part of the plan, they all work together to get Kevin Freis to get the race win next week.
Solid in theory, but when you're in a super speedway race, obviously a lot harder to do that than just to well, it's going to work just because we said it. It's not how it goes on super speedways. So it's a good plan, but you got to make sure the first part of that works before you can even think about the second part.
It's a perfect plan. I see no flaw in it.
In theory, yes. In practice,
Oh my goodness. Can you imagine if they pull that off?
I would be on par with Babe Ruth for calling your shot, I would think. I mean, that would be one of the bigger, called your shot moments that we've seen this season, that's for sure.
Well, I can tell you, there's a flaw in the...
Sorry to cut you off, KR, but Les Levy and John Guerra in the wall, and Kody Neagles is involved.
Bubba Winningham, Les Levy on the infield there. Our first caution of the night comes out, and that is good news for the driver of the 12. Zach Fritsch going to be really happy to see that one. Let's figure out what happened. 3-wide racing action. Kody Neagles just to the inside of the 62. Collecting a couple of these race trucks. See if we can't get another look at it. Neagles in the 6, up off the corner. It's just down to the inside of the 62, and as they come off the corner, they make contact, and around goes Les Levy.
It's one of those deals like what we talked about with the bumpy surface. It's obviously more uncomfortable, more unstable, and whereas that probably works last week at a flatter track like Talladega where you're coming off the corner and you push it basically as hard as you want to, here the truck bounces around so much you get off center and not even realize it until the guy's going around. I think that's exactly what happened right there.
All right, so our first caution of the night is out. That will allow Zach Fritsch to catch up to the back of the pack. Rob Connors, after doing 2 laps, he has gone behind the wall. Whatever problems he had, it seems that it is terminal, and his night is done. Do want to give a shout out to Miss Mara Clark. How you doing, Miss Mara? Good to see you. Bobby Helton checking in as well. Good to see you. Bobby Helton cheering for the 44 and Alliance. As, well, just checking in on the substitute driver for Logan Helton. Logan Helton continuing to do an outstanding job in his road to pro racing. Had to step away from the playoffs to follow that, and Anthony English in the 44 was next in line in the points. So Anthony English will be running a Logan Helton paint scheme throughout the entire rest of the playoffs. That 44 doing a good showing as he comes off of pit road with the race lead.
Oh, he's doing a good job of emulating Logan Helton, isn't he? I mean, I feel like he's hit another gear since he was admitted in the playoffs as what you could call the 17th driver, but obviously the replacement driver for Logan Helton. And man, he's hit some kind of stride over the course of these first little bit of the playoffs. He's below the cut line now, but just seems like we've seen him up front so much, and he wants to be up front leading the race. And that's it's a lot like Logan Helton that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, the 44 really taking quite a bit. He is not squandering this attempt, is what I should say. Not squandering what they've given him. Good grief, I'll get it out sooner or later.
I understood what you were going for there, I think.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Oh, good grief. All right, so field going to make its way around the start-finish line and then stack up side by side. Dawson, lap number 11, going to be in the books. We're under yellow, but the racing so far has been fairly intense at the front.
It's the same thing we're used to seeing. We'll see these guys calm down, have a little bit of a run here. Obviously, about halfway through the stage, won't throw a caution, but now everybody can make it. So no fuel issues here. You're going to run it all the way out and then obviously pit after that. We'll see who decides to maybe short pit a little bit, abandon stage points, and try for a little bit better race strategy overall, and who has to try to stay out and get stage points. So you're looking at the guys closer to the cut line, obviously. For that, a guy like Zach Fritsch, a guy like Sean Makara, Adam Kilday, Gabe Butler, guys like that are going to want stage points right here. And the two guys on the front row, Anthony English and Vicente Guerrero, happen to be 11th and 12th in points. So, it makes sense. They're the most aggressive getting to the front. And now they're going to try to hold off everybody behind them and get a 1-2 in the stage.
1 and 2 in the stage. I like your plan. I know it's not your plan. I'm just saying.
It's
we talked about plans earlier, so.
If you were to ask him, that'd be the perfect scenario. But now that I've said it, it's not going to happen. So hopefully they're not too mad at me after the race for most likely cursing them right there.
They're ruined. It's ruined. They're going to end up in the
Slightly
pond.
Ruined. Yeah, down there in Lake Lloyd on the infield.
Yep. All right, here they would come making their way through turns 3 and 4, stacked up side by side, getting ready to go back to green flag racing. 44 on the front row for the restart, and Vicente Guerrero to his outside. It's going to be a yeah, gonna be right there. That should be everyone's last pit stop, so we should be going from here the rest of the way, but then someone will have a different strategy to try and make it to the end of stage 2. So let's see how it all plays out. Everyone does have enough fuel to get to the end of stage 1.
Yeah, so the race to stage 1, obviously, you might pit maybe with 1 or 2 to go in that stage just to abandon stage 1. And like I said, kind of flip the race on its head. If there's a crash at any point, you can inherit the lead and then be set up for stage 2 and the rest of the race. And up front, they are pushing hard. Trucks all over the place, weaving back and forth, trying to give the push to the guy in front of them. Drag race, 7-truck breakaway up here at the front. Guerrero and English battle for the lead. And their pushers are all over them here in 3 and 4.
Goodness gracious, the first 3 cars on the trucks, first 3 trucks on the inside lane are really digging hard, and they have pulled away from, I want to say, that is a 51 of Travis Elliott. Looks like it, yes. Haven't seen Elliott in this paint scheme in a while, so I was taken aback for a moment.
Yeah, I almost called him Kevin Freis at one point. That's probably what had me so confused on the grid. When I was talking about Kevin Freis being my pick during qualifying, I caught a glimpse of that truck and was like, oh, that's Kevin. It's not Kevin, it's Travis Elliott. So that threw me off just for a second at least.
Can we get a black flag on the 51 of Travis Elliott? Throw him out of the race. Unapproved changes to the paint scheme.
He's trying to throw us off up here, and I'll tell you what, he succeeded with me. So I don't know. That's what he was trying to do, but hey, he caught us sleeping up here.
All right, Matt Wagner in the 11, new fast lap of the race, a 46.981 out of the 11 machine. Right now, he is finding himself in 20th spot. He is behind this fur ball. And we do have quite the fur ball as everyone's running very tight. 2 trucks up ahead trying to make it 3 wide. Tough sledding here at the Legacy Daytona track as it is very bumpy.
Yeah, they're going to need one more truck. Zach Workman, and I could not tell who that truck was behind him. I think it's Adam Kilday in the 85. They need one more truck to go with them, and then I think they'll be able to make a little bit of a run towards the front. Just nobody really willing to hang it out right as I say that. Kacey Gilchrist jumps in front of him. Now Sebastian Marin goes. They're drawing a crowd up there against the wall. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead here shortly. Marin, he wants to come right back to the front. He's got some help coming.
Sebastian Marin in the 23, riding the momentum of the outside lane. He is charging to the front with a full head of steam. It only takes one truck in that middle lane to wiggle up to break up that momentum. But for the moment, it looks like they are riding good and doing all they can to get that 23 out to that front and clean air.
Well, Kacey Gilchrist doing an excellent job. Almost trouble there with Workman. He's loose. Sebastian Marin now loose off the nose of Kacey Gilchrist. Everybody keeps it going for now. Guerrero comes down, tries to clear himself across English, and we're piling up right at the front of the field.
Big stack up from the front of the field. The 19, the 04 come to a rest. Sean Makara, the 71, is high centered. Skill issue for the 71. Yeah, he's figured it out. So yellow flag is out. Nope, he's still, there we go. He's got it now. Good grief. John, what are you doing? All right, let's see what happens here. You can see the 14 already in the process of coming down the track. The 44 had his nose just there. Guerrero was not clear. And that is a big one here in the closing laps of stage 1.
Well, playoff guy after playoff guy involved in this one. English, Guerrero, Workman, Kilday, Makara, Marin, Butler. I mean, that's over half of the playoff field involved in one crash at the front of the field. And man, that's disaster for... almost disaster anyway for Gabe Butler. It looks like, at least on my end, he still has the lead, but still, several guys coming away with damage in that in the playoff hunt. That's gonna put a stop to their plans, at least for now.
All right, so yellow flag in the air once again. The only car out of the race is the 00 of Rob Connors, and everyone was on the lead lap when that happened, so there is no free pass to give out. Now the question becomes, who comes down pit road? As we're just about 7-8 laps away from the end of stage 1. So if you're out in front, I think you want to hold on to your spot. Gabe Butler says he's going to hit pit road.
It's unavoidable. I know, obviously, if you're Gabe Butler, you don't want to give up that track position and the stage points, but the damage on the 88 is obvious. Same with Sebastian Marin. Same with Kacey Gilchrist. They're going to have to fix damage here. I know they don't want to, but unfortunately, it's how it goes when a wreck happens at the front of the field. You'd rather come fix your truck than try to stay out and potentially damage it even more here on a restart.
Yeah, they did have a little bit of that damage, but I don't know. Maybe you try it, maybe you don't. Obviously, they didn't. Points are everything right now. So obviously, they think they had enough damage to come down pit road.
They are, but at the same time, obviously, we talked about Sebastian Marin, the 33-point buffer for him, not a huge deal. Gilchrist actually has a 19-point buffer, so again, for him, not a massive deal. But for a guy, Gabe Butler, that was 2 points below the cut line, yeah, that's unfortunate, because now you've pretty much bailed on stage points. I mean, I don't think you're going to be able to move all the way into the top 10. Here, he's going to restart back behind 20th position, so it's going to be tough sledding to get back into a stage position for him.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of shocked, unless, you know, the damage had knocked the front end out of it to where he couldn't drive it. I could see that then, but I didn't see enough damage where I really felt, you know, he had to come down pit road. But there, you know, I'm all the way up here in La La Land, and he's down in the trenches.
Oh, absolutely, and it's one of those decisions that we'll see how it turns out for him later in the race, and it's just kind of one of those things that if he ends up winning, talking about Gabe Butler, if he ends up winning the race, it's going to look really smart. I mean,
yeah, none of this matters if he wins the race.
None of this matters if he locks into the next round here tonight and in about 80 laps because he fixed that damage. So we'll have to see how it pans out for him and Marin and Gilchrist and the others involved in that wreck. Obviously, still a long ways to go.
Do want to point out that the 23 of Sebastian Marin, he has gone behind the wall. He has some extensive damage. Behind the wall, he is the only truck now from that crash that has gone a lap down. Everyone else, they had dropped the jacks and rolled around. But the 23 behind the wall, that buffer that he had of 33 points before this race started. Oh boy.
Wow. I didn't really think it was that much damage. I mean, he hit the outside wall, but certainly not race-ending damage, I didn't think. And you're right, the 33-point buffer that he had coming into tonight's race goes up in smoke just like that, because we'll see if he gets back out on track. Maybe it's a connection issue more than a damage issue. We'll have to wait and see where he ends up.
I will say he did take quite the hard shot to the right front. Does pull away. I mean, you know, he made it on the pit road under his own power, but I don't know. And now he is back out on the pit road. So there we go. Long time. He's gonna have to sit there for a while. I think they pushed it behind the wall so that he could take a break. If you know what I mean. He had to go somewhere else for the moment.
That, or maybe perhaps just trying to repair the damage. Didn't want to use the fast repair, and I think the damage is a little bit more than he expected. So obviously with him continuing to run and finishing the race, I think the points damage is going to be limited, but still going to be quite a hit to that 33-point buffer. It's a good thing he had it coming into tonight, or else he'd be in a much worse spot right about now.
Yeah, he was a dominant car last week, but here we go, another week, another race to try and win, and another stage getting ready to be wrapped up. Anthony English in the 44 gets a good jump, but the 40 of Peter deBorja and the 12 of Zach Fritsch, well, they got to that throttle just a little bit better.
I was just going to point out, welcome to the party, Zach Fritsch here at the front of the field in the 12. Quickly flips the track position on its head, now finds himself in a great spot to either get stage points or potentially a stage win. We're inside the 5-lap window. Any caution from now until the end of lap 25 would end the stage, and Fritsch right there in the mix. Same with deBorja, same with English, same with Kody Neagles second on the bottom.
All right, so Anthony English in the 44, holding the line at the bottom. That yellow line looking oh so sweet to the 44. But the 40 of Peter deBorja having that Days of Thunder world record. We'll see if he can make a world record attempt here and finish this race in record time. I don't know. I do know that there's only one race in OP history that did not have an incident and a caution for an incident, but they did have cautions for the stages. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that race, see how short it was. We might send Peter deBorja to the front of this field to see if he can set an OP racing record for the shortest amount of time to do 250 miles.
It'll have to start ticking off laps pretty quickly, I would think, if we want to get to that number. Already having 2 cautions in stage 1. Going to take a bit of a Herculean effort, but hey, I've seen these guys do crazier things, so we'll have to see. And the fight of this bottom line, Neagles, English, Makara, they are hanging around, digging really hard, trying to get track position here late in stage 1, and they keep surging in the middle of the corner like not many others I've seen do at this racetrack. It's really tough to get the bottom line rolling, but they're doing so. So far, they're going to get English clear to lead right here, I think.
Anthony English in the 44, trying to be out in front for a stage win. He's got 2 on his season already. Would like to have another one here. Those stage points would go a little bit to help him get above the cut line. But I'll tell you, the people that are just above him are also just behind him. So he's not going to gain too much with a stage win if things stay the way they are.
Just even more important to get that 1 extra point here at the end of the stage. It could mean the difference between elimination and staying in the playoffs next week when we roll into the final race in the round of 12. So obviously you'd want to get a stage win. Really, any of these guys up here would like that stage win, give themselves a little bit more of a buffer, especially knowing certain guys that are below the cut line are not in points positions right now. So it's going to be a considerable advantage to the ones that can get stage points, especially if you're a guy like Zach Fritsch, like Peter deBorja. It will put you over 20 points above the cut line, and that is a lot more comfortable position to be in, especially only after one stage of the race. Last lap of stage 1, English, a huge surge to the bottom. He's going to have to go up in front of deBorja, I think, here if he wants a chance at the stage win.
Last time around, John Guerrero set the fastest lap of the race at a 46.94. But here we go. Final corner in the stage. Peter deBorja and in the 40 and the 12 of Zach Fritsch. They are trying to win this stage. deBorja losing some momentum through the corner, but here they come up off the corner and down on the bottom, the 44 of Anthony English. I have no idea. That was way too close.
I'm not sure myself. It looked like to me he had it at the line, but I'm not 100% sure. Couldn't really tell. It was about dead even, and obviously don't know where scoring is on that one, but we'll have to see here as deBorja takes the lead now on lap 26, but we'll try to get an idea of who won that stage.
Absolutely. The moment we know who won that stage, we will let you guys know. It did look like the 44 was ahead by just a nose, but man, looks can be deceiving.
My scoring for that scoring loop there at the start-finish line, yep, it'll be Anthony English in the 44 getting the stage win there in stage number 1.
All right, so there you have it. Anthony English, your stage 1 winner, unofficially, because Dawson, you're not the one that we officially used to score, but it is a very good indicator.
Yeah, unofficially, officially, unofficially, unofficially, you get the idea, Anthony English,
right.
Stage 1 winner.
There we go. So if we get it wrong, it's not our fault. We just don't have access to the official scoring.
Right.
But we have a very good idea. Close approximation.
Yeah, I mean, I went back and looked at the line, so if anyone wants to dispute that, you let me know. But I did the best thing I could and went back and looked at the video. So I don't know. If I'm wrong, then I guess I'm just blind. But hey, it might be.
Nah, I think you got it. It looked like it by just a nose hair from up here in the scoring tower for the 44, and you going back and watching it. I think we got it. So we'll talk to Anthony English should we get a caution, but right now we are still green. I do expect to see these guys on pit road here in the next 10 laps or so. We'll see what happens because the drivers at the front, they did not come down pit road. I'm sorry. Some of them did, not all of them, but some of them came down pit road at our last caution. Zach Fritsch in the 12, last on pit road on lap 11. Peter deBorja lap 10. Anthony English lap 10. So they are going to have to hit pit road before too long.
Obviously, the idea was to get to the end of the stage and then go from there on pit strategy. And several guys, I think, are just trying to get to the front before they start to worry about strategy. Adam Kilday is making his first run at the front tonight. Same with Alex Green, Nate Warren, Jim Mayer, John Guerra, all making their way forward a little bit as some of our playoff guys start to fade backwards. And as pit stops get ready to happen, Kilday down across Josh Ball leads Alex Green to lead the top line for the first time tonight in that bright red 3.
Do want to point out that the 23 of Sebastian Marin has rejoined the race. He is 8 laps down. So he just got back out there about 2 laps ago, if my math is correct, and it usually is not. So, yeah, good to see the 23 out there and racing.
Yeah, this is mostly just mop-up duty, if you will, for Sebastian Marin. He's got a big points buffer, so just by virtue of finishing the race, he's going to gain not gain any ground on anybody behind him, but he won't lose much of that 33-point buffer just by finishing, even if he does finish in the 27th position. But he's out there to make passes as guys get involved in wrecks later in the race. That's exactly what he's going to do. It's just try to take advantage of others' misfortune and gain a few more spots and gain a few more points heading into next week.
Adam Kilday in the 85 out in front. Kilday would love nothing more than to win a stage, win the race. Alex Green, he has had a long, stagnant time since the last time he was into victory lane here on a Monday night. So Alex Green would love to win a race, and we are seeing these two out in front right now. Last time we saw Alex Green in front, trying to think of when it was, and I believe it was quite a while ago when he was out in front under a green flag. I think he was out there last time I remember was under yellow when he had to come down pit road.
Oh, good to see him running up front right now. His first round of pit stops. Here come Zach Fritsch, Peter deBorja, and others.
These were the drivers who stayed out under the last caution. These guys all went for stage points. Quite a few of them got them. You can see the 40 of deBorja, the 44 of Anthony English, the 12 of Zach Fritsch, all right there. So as a lead, as the lead pack makes its way down the backstretch, Adam Kilday and Alex Green running side by side.
And this is the remainder of the field waiting on these guys to make their pit stops here that will get them to the end of stage number 2. I'll tell you, that group that just came down, it's going to be tough for them to make the end of stage 3. They'd have to stretch that tank about an extra lap to make it to the end of that stage. These guys are going to bypass it here on lap 32 and continue on. Put lap 33 on the board, so they'll be good to go when they pit to make the end of stage 2. We'll have to wait and see if that group that came down a lap ago will be able to make it once we get around to the end of stage number 2.
So the 85 and the 3 last on pit road on lap 18. When they hit pit road, that should be enough for them to get to the end of the stage. The drivers who pitted a few laps ago, that's going to be close for them. That's going to be real close. Going to be on the edge. I think they can do it, but it's going to be close.
Yeah, very close. Very, very close. But it's what goes into these races, the strategy calls, and certainly an aggressive call to get stage points at the end of stage 1 for that first group to come down pit road. And they're gonna try to stretch it out and get points at the end of stage 2. I think they're in a pretty good spot. It's a solid group. It's going to pick up time once they get connected.
All right, Jim Mayer, Nate Warren, John Guerrero, Mark Mann, Alex Green, all running in your top 5 right now. Jim Mayer in the 95 dropping down to the bottom. John Guerrero in the 59. We saw him smack the outside wall in our first caution of the night. Good to see he has recovered and is now up in front.
Well, absolutely. Obviously, the cast of characters changed a little bit here at the front. Matt Wagner, Mark Mann up here as well. Some different faces making their way forward, and not a lot of green spoilers here in the top 6. None of them, to be exact. So, guys trying to spoil the party once again tonight after Richard Kuhn did so last week. Stole a win away from playoff drivers trying to lock their way in the round of 8. We're about to see pit stops. These guys are cycling to the bottom. This second group about to make their way to pit road.
Yeah, a lot of guys trying to get to the bottom lane of this racetrack. A good sign that we're going to have green flag pit stops within the next lap or 2. And it looks like no one hitting pit road this time around. 2 trucks on the outside. That is Mark Mann in the 04. It's Miss Mara's driver. He's trying to get out in front. These guys cannot make it on fuel. They will have to make a stop. But it is good to see everyone on a little bit of a different strategy from time to time.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's, again, part of what makes these races so great, right, is the different strategies and trying to do the math up here, trying to get out the calculator, get out the notebook, go back in the notes and see when everybody pitted last. And it's a lot of fun to watch, obviously. Had to do some, some points math also. We'll have to do that next week again. We'll have to do that tonight even as we get stage points locked in. And honestly, I haven't had a chance to do that yet. No, well, I guess I'm slacking off. But no, that's part of what makes these races great is stuff like this, where groups come to pit road and other groups try to stretch out a tank, and you can clearly tell who's trying to plan for the end of the race.
Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, Travis Elliott all on the pit road this time. So everything getting very close to ending up we're completing a green flag pit stop cycle. We just got to get through this group right here. And here comes another large chunk on the pit lane. Jim Mayer, Dave Hunt, Sean Stevens all stay out, but John Guerrero, Josh Ball, Matt Wagner, and Mark Mann all hitting pit road this time.
Interesting to see these three trucks stay on the racetrack because they are not connected. They're going to lose a lot of time right here as they attempt to get linked up, trying to run a couple more laps, pick up some speed, and maybe click a couple lap times off. They just lost a lot there as this group, the group behind them, hits pit road. They're just now together and still trying to get back up to full speed. So not sure how it's going to pan out for this group. They're losing time to pretty much everybody else on the racetrack at this point.
Yeah, they are falling back very quickly. They will have to hit pit road this time and hope for the best. So we'll see if it works to their favor, because they're going to need these other groups to fall apart, but for that to happen, it's going to be kind of rare.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch and see who cycles out first. Looks like it's going to be the group led, well, I say group, that's a little bit loose. Group led by Nate Warren, although the first group to come to pit road, along with Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, Travis Elliott, are going to cycle on by most of them and looks like inherit the race lead here after this cycle of pit stops.
All right, Jim Mayer in the 95. He is down and away. But you can see the field coming behind him with a full head of steam. Well, they're running 3 wide, though. Oh, this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good blend. 4 wide trouble, and Jim Mayer with the right call.
Wow, Jim Mayer with the best call tonight so far. Obviously, probably didn't intend for that to happen behind him, but nonetheless, going to benefit from it. As several playoff guys are involved in this one, and I'm not even sure where to start on what happened. I didn't even hardly see it up near the front of the field.
Yeah, this was the group that was 3 wide, 4 wide. They were all trying to get it to that coveted front spot to inherit the race lead. And it looks like it all went wrong coming through turns 1 and 2. Bubba Winningham in the 66 collects the 31, as the 31 was below the line. We might have to back this up just a little bit further so we can see what the 31 and 66 are doing here. Gilchrist trying to get out of the way. Bubba Winningham was trying to slow down and get out of the way as well, but could not make it happen. And the field came through with a full head of steam.
I'm not really sure. I think Kacey Gilchrist was doing the right thing. He was just going to file down behind the guys that just come off pit road and can't quite get all the way off the racetrack by the time Bubba Winningham gets to him. And that's just one of those deals where, it's a little bit of a miscommunication. Probably, I don't think Bubba knew what Kacey was going to do right there. So it's just one of those unfortunate deals, trying to get the leaders to go around you, trying to blend with guys that just came off pit road. It's a tough situation right there.
All right, so with that being said, we are under caution once again. And where's Dave Hunt's our race leader.
I was kind of wondering where
Jim Mayer came down pit road,
but he came down pit road.
Yeah.
Well.
Okay.
Trying to get back on cycle, perhaps, with the rest of the guys that hit pit road right there. That might not be a bad call for Jim Mayer, who was trying to figure out where he was running tonight and who he's running with and around. And it appears to me he's running with the guys out of FSR. So, yeah, perhaps the best call there for Jim Mayer to come down and get on the same page as the guys he's running with. So maybe the right call there for the 95.
All right, so Jim Mayer in the 95, who I thought made the right call to come away with the race lead. Kind of did make the right call to come away with the race lead, but then came back down pit road. So now the 53 and Dave Hunt is our race leader. Sean Stevens in the 27 is second. Gabe Butler in the 88 is third. And then the Italian stallion Vicente Guerrero is 14th. In the 14 is fourth. Oh boy.
Yeah, we're getting through it. A shake-up at the front of the field, certainly in another spot where stage points are on the line. I'll tell you who I think the best beneficiary is out of this cycle of pit stops, and that is Gabe Butler. He was tail end of the field on the last restart of stage 1. Now he's right back at a spot where he could potentially get some good stage points in stage 2. So that's best case scenario there for the 88 and the 14 as well, really, if you want to talk about guys that kind of need the stage points here.
Yeah, Butler did a great job recovering as he was dealing with that earlier race crash. Knocked him out of stage points for the first stage. Oh, and we never got to talk to Anthony English. Ah, dang it. English winning the first stage. Gabe Butler has been working on recovery, so now he might be able to win stage number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And recovery is the right word. He got the best end of that pit cycle, I think, and now is in a really great spot. This is the kind of break you get on a super speedway sometimes. You kind of get a do-over, if you will. That's what the 88's been given here. That's what several guys have been given here late in the stage. Zach Fritsch, he's got a chance at stage points here as well. Adam Kilday, Peter deBorja. Guys that are going to need those points are in the spot to get points. It's going to be good. 8 laps left in stage 2. You're basically splitting the fuel run in half, so pit stop's not an issue here either at the end of stage number 2.
All right, so the 53 and the 27 stack up side by side. It's the 88 and the 14. That's Gabe Butler and Vicente Guerrero. Row number 3 for the restart will be Kody Neagles and Travis Elliott. Well, here we go. Lights are out on the Chevy Silverado. Field making its way once again onto the front stretch. And here we go. The 53 has a good chance here to pull away from the 27 as the 27 fell back quite a bit.
Teammates for Checkered Flag Motorsports, perhaps teammate coordinated restart there, trying to get Dave Hunt up into the middle lane and get those teammates lined up for this run of the stage. But Vicente Guerrero, Travis Elliott said, no, we're not going to let that happen. And they catch on quickly. Guerrero pushes the 27 to the race lead now. A very strong surge by the outside line. Here comes Sean Stevens for the lead, but Vicente Guerrero going to be, I imagine, the first guy to make something happen here once these two potentially get clear.
Yeah, Guerrero in that 14, he came into tonight's race 15 points below the cut line. Unofficially, we have nothing on where he finished in stage 1. So he is doing all he can to win stage 2. He needs to get maximum points. Here we go. Final few laps here in stage number 2.
Yeah, 7 to go, and Gabe Butler, man, that was a heck of a move there to fill a gap that was not very large. He did not have much time to execute that one, but luckily he's able to get up in front of his teammate there. That helps a lot. I think a guy up there you can communicate with and say, hey, I'm coming up. Travis Elliott going to ride behind the 88, now second in line, and Bootnaka all of a sudden has 3 trucks lined up behind Vicente Guerrero here, and you got to think the 14 knows that now. He's probably seen it, and he's probably communicating that to his teammates that are, or at least the one that's up here near the front, so that they can make a plan for when those Bootnaka trucks step out of line. So I'll tell you what, I don't think Gabe Butler stays in line. There's no benefit to finishing 3rd in the stage for him here. He'd like to max out on points and get all 10.
Yeah, Butler needs to make a good run here, but Vicente Guerrero is in a worse position than he is. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. That 14, oof. Never count out an Italian stallion.
Certainly not, and it seems like he has picked up a little bit of aggression here tonight. He knows the point spot he's in. He knows what he has to do here to make his way into the round of 8. He knows he's going to have to be more aggressive, and with 6 laps to go in stage 2, he's in a really good spot. He's got a teammate close to him. We'll see if they can get linked up here late in the stage, but he's going to have a lot of contention behind him. Zach Fritsch, Gabe Butler, Peter deBorja, and others that really could use some extra stage points, and it just aren't guys that I think are going to be content to ride behind the 14, at least not for very much longer.
So the 14 and the 27 now battle it down the backstretch past the bus stop here at Daytona. Josh Medlock chiming in. How you doing, Josh? Good to see you. You guys don't know, Josh calls the race on Saturday nights for OP Racing over on Max Speed TV. Dawson, you've been doing Thursday nights. Tell us a little bit about Thursday night.
Yeah, so Thursday nights have been the throwback series for the last several weeks. I've been on the call for those. It's the 2001 rules package, the Gen 4 cars, and an assortment of tracks, not just super speedways. It's been kind of a nice break. I don't think that's the right word to use, but it's been a nice change of pace for me on Thursday nights, and several of the guys you see on track tonight, including our leader Vicente Guerrero, are a part of that Thursday night series, and it's been a lot of great racing on Thursday nights. You'll want to check that out if you have a free second, because the last couple weeks have had some of the better finishes I've seen in non-super speedway racing in a very long time, and we've got a points battle shaping up over there as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We got Texas this week on Thursday. Some high speed, some intense racing, and I can't wait to get back in the booth for that one.
All right, man. Well, we look forward to seeing you on Thursday night at Texas. But here we are at the Legacy Daytona for the second race in the round of Championship 12. And the 27 and the 14 are battling side by side to try and win this stage. Just 2 laps left in the stage.
Yeah, Guerrero, I mean, you know he's probably looking back there now. The third line starts to come forward a little bit. It's make or break for the Bootnaka trucks. Once Anthony English gets to them, we'll see what they decide to do. It'll be 2 to go in the stage, but for Vicente Guerrero, do you think about blocking the third line? There goes deBorja out in front of Anthony English. So here we go. 2 laps to go in the stage. Now Gabe Butler's got a decision to make. I don't think he's going to have time to go out there. He doesn't. Here comes Peter deBorja.
deBorja in the 40 has a good run down the back, or down the outside. And now they're on the backstretch. Good grief, KR. I must be really tired. Go for it.
No, I absolutely agree. I'm also very tired, so I can't fault you for that. deBorja not going to get clear. Anthony English doing everything he can to get the 40 a little bit further forward, although they went a little bit high there in 3 and 4. It stalls their momentum. 3 wide for the lead, still off of 4. Guys starting to bounce back and forth. Here we go, last lap of stage number 2.
Final time around, a 3 wide battle to win stage number 2. Peter deBorja finishing second in stage 1. Now here he is with a shot to try and redeem that and win the stage, but he's got the 14 and the 27 down to his inside.
Gabe Butler doing everything he can for Vicente Guerrero, but just I don't think has the engine temps available here to push the 14. He's got one more push left in him. English doing everything he can for deBorja up top. It may be enough to get the 40 clear, not quite. Guerrero says no. Gabe Butler, Travis Elliott running behind him. It's going to be a drag race all the way home here in stage number 2. Stevens looks back to the outside. They're going to wreck. Right off turn number 4, they go around, and that's going to end the stage.
Caution flag coming out, and the 40 of Peter deBorja on the outside lane wins the stage. Gabe Butler in second as they cross the line. And with a crash like that and points on the line, race control will go back and look at everything. But for the moment, it looks like the stage win will go to the 40 of Peter deBorja.
Man, he needed that, but even more importantly, Gabe Butler cashes in at the end of stage 2, gets 9 stage points. That's going to help him a ton and bring him back above the cut line, at least for the time being, as I believe he will jump Sean Makara. I don't know if he'll jump Adam Kilday quite yet, but it's awfully close. But Butler should be back above the cut line after that really great ending for stage 2 for the 88 truck.
Yeah, and that is, of course, if it sticks, how they rule this one will be very important, because the 88 was kind of there in the thick of things. So we'll see. We will see. And I hope for Gabe Butler's sake that they call that a racing deal, because these trucks do move around. But good grief, that's going to be tight for him. Ooh, boy. Big stack up behind there. A lot of implications for the 14 of Vicente Guerrero at that stage as well.
Oh man, he's going to be the biggest point of misfortune out of that. Is it looked like he was going to, at the very least, get second in the stage, and now no stage points at all for the 14 tonight between stage 1 and stage 2. Now he has to kind of just refocus and focus on the end of the race. He needs a good run now to even maintain what he came into tonight's race with, which is a 15-point deficit to the cut line, and I think that gap has grown even more after the end of stage number 2.
All right, well, let's take this moment, since we can, and talk to our stage winner. We still need to get to Anthony English, but we will talk to our stage 2 winner right now. Dawson, I think you caught up with him.
Yeah, hey Peter, it's the boys up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do. Hey, what's up, guys?
Well, we're doing great. We're having fun watching you guys battle it out, and take us through the last lap of that stage 2. That was insanity up front, and the wreck starts right at the front, but you come away with what appears to be, at least for now, a stage victory there in stage 2.
Yeah, I mean, I was telling Gabe and Travis when we were running with tonight, you know, if the third lane comes, I got to take it. I need the stage points, and Gabe had a little bit too much damage to lead. He felt he could push fine with Vince, but he couldn't jump out. So Anthony did a great job there. We worked real well together at the end of stage 1 as well, and we raced together on Saturdays sometimes. So I knew that seeing the 44 behind me there was pretty good news, and I'm not quite sure what caused the incident. I know they were still looking at it in the pits when I just got dragged up to the booth here, but yeah, it was tough. It was hard racing there at the end, but I love this place. It's a zoo sometimes, but it's difficult, and that's what I think makes it fun.
Well, absolutely, and it's been fun to watch so far tonight. You came into tonight 17 points above the cut line. You've grown that buffer a little bit more. So where do you go from here mindset-wise, knowing your playoff buffer is up above 20 points here in the second race of the round of 12?
I said in the pre-race to KR, the goal for me was to score 1 million points tonight and get Gabe a win. And then next week we could just be completely focused on Kevin. And it sucks that he wasn't able to race this tonight, but he'll be back next week and do what we can to get multiple horses in the round of 8. So, I'm not really particularly great at getting top 10s. I got my first top 5 last week, so if I come home with an 11th after, 19 stage points, that's pretty darn good. So let's try and bring it home in one piece. We had 0 incidents for a while, but just picked up a 4 right there towards the end of that. But yeah, just trying to bring it home in one piece, and a decent finish is fine for me.
Well, absolutely. And we'll let you get back to work here in just a second. While we have you, anybody you want to shout out or thank for that Stage 2 victory?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Team I was working with, obviously, Eric, Gabe, and Travis, but then the push in there at the end from Anthony was super helpful. Extra Life 24-hour stream coming up next Saturday. I think it's like 12 days from now or whatever. So we're at like $1,100 raised, which is kind of insane. Just people who have been very generous or having me make them some paint schemes here or there, some other graphic design work. I'm happy to do whatever I can to help raise money for sick kids. So hit me up on Facebook or Twitter. I can't really put the link in the YouTube chat right now, but if I happen to get a post-race interview, I'll do that for sure. But thank you guys in the booth.
The link is down below the broadcast description.
Look at this guy on top of things. Thank you so much, KR.
You are welcome.
Appreciate you guys for giving us a platform to race on, and obviously a way for me to spout off a really great cause like that. So thank you.
Well, hey, congrats on that stage win. Good luck the rest of the way. We'll see if we're talking to you at the end.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys.
All right, there you have it. The driver of the 40, that is Peter deBorja. And, well, we're going to fire him off again here, Dawson. And why don't you take over while I try and get Peter to the right room?
Well, I certainly will. A bit of a shakeup at the front of the field here as non-playoff guys have made their way forward. You can tell who has strategized for the end of this race. And leads the lead over to Alex Green and Richard Kuhn, last week's winner on the front row, trying to go back-to-back. Trying to spoil the party once again for the playoff guys who now sit 5th on back. Here into the tribal they come. Green flag on lap 54. We're into stage 3. The run of the end of the Bumpy Road 250 begins right now, and off and running towards turn 1 goes Alex Green in the 3.
So green flag coming out, and Dawson, I have to go back and say, correct myself. The broadcast description does not have his link for Monday nights, but it does for Wednesday nights. So I'm going to get that one in here right now. So give me a minute.
All right, while he goes after that, everybody kind of keeping it somewhat tame up front. Not really much to go yet. Sean Makara, the first move to the outside of Alex Green. It leaves Kody Neagles to push the 3 on the bottom of the racetrack, but Makara knows he has to go, knows he needs some points. Really could use a victory tonight if he can get it, and he is up on the wheel here on lap 54. Makara to the outside with the help of Dave Hunt in the 53. About a 7-truck breakaway here at the front. Makara, Hunt, Green, Kuhn, Neagles, Elliott, and Mark Mann. Matt Wagner, Les Levy, Nate Warren a little further back. Our playoff guys kind of lodged in traffic besides Makara and Neagles. As getting close to 45 laps to go. Oh my goodness, Kody Neagles, I have no idea how he kept it going straight, but he is going backwards. And now it's going to allow the bottom to be open for Richard Kuhn and Mark Mann. Bit of a scramble up front. Now it's a 4-truck breakaway as Travis Elliott, Matt Wagner try to get back into the party. Makara continues to lead down into 3. Nope, make that Richard Kuhn in the 47.
Well, I'm still working on it, trying to get this going. But, man, I'll tell you what, that was a big moment for our front runners. But now Richard Kuhn, Sean Makara, these 2 guys finding themselves out in front of the field. And Richard Kuhn, last week's race winner, he talked about making it go 2 in a row.
Well, he's in a good spot with 45 laps to go. Obviously still 2 pit stops to be made in this race, but for now, running up front where he needs to be. He's got some decent help around him here as he tries to maintain his track position, but Sean Makara trying to deny him up top. He's, like I said, in a pretty sensitive points position tonight where he could really use the victory. This could be a huge win for Sean Makara to propel him into the round of 8. Be the first guy to lock up a spot in that round and really make next week interesting. The cut line going to be very close regardless of who wins tonight, I think. But, man, if Makara were to win, that'd make that last couple of spots extremely interesting. Looking further back, Adam Kilday started to come towards the front. Looks like Zach Workman as well. And then beyond that, the playoff guys, man, they are ways back in this field right now. This is very odd. Only what I see, let's see, 2 playoff guys in the top 10, only 3 in the top 12 or 13 trucks here. So they're hanging at the back, trying to hedge their bets on the end of the race, I guess, with 44 laps to go. That's very odd. I'm not used to seeing the playoff guys run this far back and just kind of be content with it, it looks like.
Well, at this point now, you're just riding out because keep in mind, we could stay green to the end of this race. So now you're hitting a fuel number. Now you're not going after stage points. You're going after a race win. So hanging out towards the back may not be a bad idea. Speaking of things at the back, right now we have 22 cars on the lead lap. Zach Workman, the first truck, 1 lap down. He scored in 23rd. Zach Fritsch, Bubba Winningham, all 1 lap down. Anthony English, multiple laps down. Sebastian Marin, still multiple laps down. And Rob Connors out of this race at lap 2. So 27 trucks still out there battling around. And the 44 of Anthony English going to go another lap down as he stays to the high side.
And it's a good thing he got stage points, because certainly could be a disastrous night in the finishing order for him, but we'll see where he's at in points once we roll around the next week. The battle at the front continues to be intense. Now Travis Elliott, Nate Warren, John Guerra have joined the party. They want to go to the front here with 42 laps to go. Makara just continuing to tick off laps to the front. Got the bonus point, has stage points tonight. It's been a great night for the 71, but the icing on the cake would be a trip to victory lane, his 2nd win of the season, if he could get the job done. The guys behind him, especially the guys with the green spoilers, want to deny him that opportunity. Adam Kilday is the closest playoff guy to the front here. It could deny him, and it's another guy I think that could benefit from a victory and shake up next week in terms of the playoff picture. Right around that cut line, as he is the driver, well, he's the guy that came in on the cut line here to tonight's race. So him and Sean Makara, they could seriously shake things up with a victory here in tonight's race.
Sean Makara in the 71 has the lead on the inside line. Travis Elliott in the 51 to his outside. Elliott, well, he's got nothing to go for but race win, so you put that 51 out in front, and boy, oh boy, is there a tough time to get him to finish anywhere other than at the front of the field.
Another guy emulating the paint scheme on his truck. This is what we're used to seeing out of Kevin Freis, is getting up there leading the race, controlling the lines, and Travis Elliott certainly doing a good job of that tonight, reminding me of the guy that usually drives the Cornflakes truck. So we'll see at the 51 can channel his teammate at Bootnaka, Kevin Freis, and get a victory tonight as well. Nate Warren, though, wants to deny him that as well. He's up on the outside. He's won a race this season as well. He's looking to spoil the playoff party. Same with John Guerra. Same with David Overstreet. It's the first time I've seen the 68 inside the top 10 tonight as he starts to make his way towards the front as well. 40 laps to go. Down the back straightaway to go. Drag race up front.
Nate Warren in the 2 slides down to the inside, just ahead of the 51 of Travis Elliott. John Guerrero in the 59, now out in front on the outside lane. The 85 of Adam Kilday pushing on that back bumper.
Kilday is now the top running playoff guy, but don't look now. Peter deBorja has slowly made his way forward. He's 5th on the outside line. Zach Fritsch, Vicente Guerrero starting to follow him, so the playoff guys are starting to find their way to the front as we get closer to what is going to be the 2nd to last pit stop in this race. The window is about to open, I think, here in the next couple laps to pit and be able to run out 2 tanks as David Overstreet goes to the outside. I don't know if he wants to go forward or backward. I can't really tell. And he's kind of just hanging out there in limbo. Looks like he's going to go backwards here, as no one's really going to give him a spot in line. But playoff guys coming forward. It's going to get more intense here late in this one.
So Overstreet in the 68 has no help, falling back through the order here, as he is the only truck on that high line. Guerrero and Warren running side by side for that 1st and 2nd spot. We are working lap 63 of 100. Keep in mind, we got 2 attempts at a green-white checkered should we need them. Drivers last on pit road were lap 52, lap 51 for some of them. So green flag pit stop's going to be happening very soon. And Dawson, that calculator better start going, because I don't think we can make it from here on 1 stop.
You can if you can make it about another 2 laps. It'll be 35 laps to go. It gives you about 17 on each tank. If you pit 65 coming to 66, it's maybe 66 to 67 if you can make it that far. It'll be about 17 laps on each tank, and I think that's more than good to run it all the way on one more stop from there. But you do still have 2 stops as we run right now on the racetrack. We are awaiting that first of those 2 stops here in the next few laps. I imagine these guys will start to think about coming to pit road in the next 2 or 3 laps.
All right, so deBorja, driver of the 40, stage 2 winner, and promise, guys, if we get another caution, we're going to talk to the 44 of Anthony English, but his race from stage 1 to now has gone very poorly, so he may not be as happy as he was for stage 1.
I still got to imagine he's a pretty happy guy. Got a decent amount of stage points. I think he cashed in on 18 stage points tonight. Second to only, I believe, Peter deBorja, who got 19 stage points. So obviously he's made the most of the first 2 stages, but now, yeah, it's going to need some help as he tries to work his way back into this race for the finishing order. But still, overall, a decent night so far, and he's going to have a nice buffer even if he does finish where he currently is. New leader, though, down the backstretch, Peter deBorja in the 40.
That 40 truck, our stage 2 winner, his goal was to earn as many points as he could while pushing the 88 of Gabe Butler to the race lead. We'll see if that plays out, because Butler right now all the way back at 21st spot. You can see him just there, the second truck at the end, second to end. Oh, I'll spit it out sooner or later. This has been a rough day for me. Dawson, why don't you just take over all of it from here?
Well, that's asking a lot of me with 35 laps to go. I don't know about that. I'm going to try to also do fuel number calculations. So,
come on, you can do it all. It's fine.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't know. I'm a little bit tired myself, so I don't know if you want to put me at the controls here with 35 laps to go.
Well, let's just say you can't do any worse than I am, as we do have 1 truck peeling off for pit road. That is the 27 of Sean Stevens. He will go a lap down for that. 1 truck trying to hustle and stay out in front, I believe. That to be the 23, Sebastian Marin, as he's going to go another lap down. So the 40 and now the 95 with a full head of steam down the backstretch. Jim Mayer, Peter deBorja into turn number 3.
Yeah, but playoff guys coming to the front here to contest Adam Kilday and Peter deBorja. There you see the green spoilers, Zach Fritsch, Vicente Guerrero, Kacey Gilchrist, all back in the picture here on lap 67. This was the lap I said you could probably make it. If you tried to do a 2-stop strategy, this was probably the lap to pit. Where the window opened, they bypass it and move forward. Lap 68 on the board, so now you're going to be more than good to do it on 2 stops. You'll have 1 right here the next couple laps, and then 1 again somewhere around lap 85. Obviously, that would be pretty good. Obviously, the longer these guys go, the later that stop's going to be. But also, the more variation we could have where the window would open on lap 84, and you could have guys who decide to come down, pit early, take less fuel after a late stop here late in this run, and potentially win the race just because of having less time on pit road.
I will say, talking about pit road, you know, they're all starting to get down to the bottom lane. I think it was, a very slicing move by 1 truck to try and get down there. I didn't catch who that was, but now just 2 trucks in the second lane. Jim Mayer in the 95. I believe that to be the 14 of Vicente, or I'm sorry, that is the 12 of Zach Fritsch. The 14 of Vicente Guerrero is the 4th truck on the inside line.
And these 2 stuck for now. Adam Kilday. This is an interesting decision out of the 85. Decides to jump up here in front of Jim Mayer, try to get an extra spot on Peter deBorja. He got 3 trucks. Kilday just trying to leapfrog, but not going to happen. The bottom denies him the opportunity, but they're not really pushing that hard. Kilday going to try to leapfrog for the race lead. This is a very interesting decision, but I think I know why he made it, because here comes some guys to pit road.
On the pit road, Josh Ball, Travis Elliott, Kody Neagles, Matt Wagner, Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie. Those guys hit pit road. Everyone else now single file with Adam Kilday in the 85 out in front. And did he make the right call there? I think so, because, man, this line is long right here. Nobody really lost a lot of speed. as they tried to form up. So this is going to be a good advantage for the 85. Good shot at coming away with the race lead if they all make good pit stops here.
Oh, and look at how it's setting up behind him too. Just the different storylines you're going to have once these guys come off pit road, assuming that they can all come off cleanly. Although now Adam Kilday, not much help staying out for him this time. deBorja, Hunt, and Jimmy Reynolds, the only 3 trucks to stay on the racetrack with the 85. And not really much to separate, or excuse me, not really much going on here between the 40 and the 19 and the 53, as they're not really together. So was it the right call after all? I'm not too sure.
Well, we still got one more pit stop to make, so now I don't know. I don't think so. But that's me. I don't think they made the right call in the 85 and the 40 to stay out. I think they needed to come down pit road with that group that they had behind them. But it is what it is, and we'll see how it plays out.
They're coming this time. They do actually get everybody lined up here, trying to get with them on pit road. So that's going to benefit Adam Kilday a little bit, is that all these trucks are going to pit together. Now you start to watch as this group comes out of pit road, led by Jim Mayer. Well, not really a group again. This is the same as the first pit stop, as Mayer had too good a pit stop. He's way out front of the rest of the field here. This is very odd, and we'll see how this works out for him.
Yeah, Jim Mayer, 33.72 seconds spent on pit road. And now here comes the field behind him with a full head of steam. Jimmy Reynolds, Adam Kilday, Dave Hunt, Peter deBorja, all finding themselves trying to gain speed, but they are down on the apron as here comes the pack 3 wide.
Everybody's starting to jockey to find their spots, trying to push forward. Now they're going to have to try to blend. This is going to get really, really sketchy as the pack is 3 wide. These first 3 trucks, it's going to be awfully interesting. Oh, man, can they make it through this? Oh, it's going to be so close. This is dicey racing up front.
Gabe Butler in the 88 on the 3rd lane with the 071 of Eric Glory on his back bumper. And the race lead right now is the 31 of Kacey Gilchrist.
Another guy that could really vault his season here with a win tonight to advance into the round of 8. A guy that won on this racetrack to advance into the playoffs even to begin with. Now finds himself with an opportunity to do the same thing he did during the regular season. Get a victory here and just not have to worry about next week. What a win it would be tonight for Kacey Gilchrist, but a lot of green spoilers behind him here, and it's not going to be easy for him. Kody Neagles, Zach Fritsch, although on my end, Zach Fritsch showing off the lead lap. Not sure if that's the same for you. I'm not sure where he got off the lead lap in this exchange.
The 12 is Zach Fritsch?
Maybe my scoring is wrong, but I'm showing him a lap down.
I got him a lap down as well, but he is right there. Let's see if it cycles around, and no, it's scoring him a lap down. So
yeah, some unknown issue that I did not see, or maybe he was already a lap down, and we were just, but I could have sworn he was on the lead lap on our last restart. So some unknown issue for the 12, and all of a sudden he's a lap down late in this race.
Yeah, Zach Fritsch in trouble here. 1 lap down. And as of right now, he is the first truck 1 lap down. He will battle with Zach Workman, Bubba Winningham, and Sean Stevens. I do not know when they went a lap down. Yeah, that is a wow. Okay,
it's so interesting because we saw other guys go a lap down. We saw Stevens go a lap down. We saw Winningham go a lap down. We saw Zach Workman go a lap down as well. But I never saw the 12 go a lap down. So very interesting to see him go 1 lap down, and now I have to try to. He's actually going to try to get back the hard way here up along the outside wall. And Gilchrist, this is what he wants to see, is the middle's going to get stalled by that outside line, allow him to lead some more laps here with 25 laps to go.
Kacey Gilchrist in the 31, Jim Mayer in the 95, and the 12 of Zach Fritsch, all leading the respective lanes. Zach Fritsch in the 12, trying to get his lap back the hard way. And if he can do that, he is going to need a caution flag to come out to catch up to the tail end of the field. Holy cow, he just got it.
That's about the best timing you could have asked for if you're Zach Fritsch. Unreal timing, and it's going to get him his lap back, I do believe, but playoff guys once again involved in this one.
Yeah, more playoff guys involved, but I'm not 100% sure. The 12, I could not tell from my point of view if he was in front of the leader or not. But the way that the 12 is not necessarily trying too hard to pull away from the rest of the field tells me that maybe he was not in front of the race lead. Either way, I think he will get the free pass.
Depending on the timing of caution here, I think you're right. Good call. To me, trying to find a decent angle that tells me for sure. Yeah, he is 100% in front of the pace car, or not the pace car, the leader, excuse me. So he's going to get his lap back the hard way. In fact, on my scoring, tail end of the lead lap, Zach Fritsch did it the hard way and got a perfectly timed caution.
Good grief. All right, let's look and see what happened to bring out this yellow flag that we have. As they were going through the tri-oval. Back that up just a little bit further. Alex Green in the 3. Big wiggle, collects Josh Ball, and then everything goes south from there.
Yeah, that's how it goes. One wiggle, especially the longer you go on a set of tires. I mean, you can't imagine these guys are taking 4 tires every pit stop, and the longer you go, the less grip you have. The more that wear starts to get to the handling of the truck. And obviously running 3 wide, it's even tougher to maintain that for very long. And right there, it all goes south. And it's just another incident that takes out what seems to be a lot of the playoff field.
I'm starting to feel bad for Vicente Guerrero. This poor guy, he has been involved in almost every single yellow that we have had here tonight.
It's double as tough when you realize that he's 15 points below the cut line and did not cash in on stage points, and it's just the luck not falling his way really for most of this round, most of the playoffs even. It seems like it just not the playoff run that Vicente Guerrero wanted.
I will say though, each and every time we see him go for a spin, he doesn't make hard contact with the wall. I think that truck just likes to go for some donuts. He might be able to keep that truck running and come away with the race win despite all the bad luck that he seems to have.
Absolutely. We'll see where he cycles out of pit road. Looks like he's going to be 12th, so perhaps you're right. Just, kind of a spin and one of those deals where you just get back on the racetrack, try to go back after it, and he needs to now. I mean, we're down to the nitty-gritty of the race where you're going to have to start to see some of those guys come forward. Guerrero, Fritsch, Makara, Kilday, guys that need good runs tonight are going to have to start making their moves now.
All right, so the benefit to Zach Fritsch being out in front of the leaders when that yellow flag came out meant he was scored at the tail end of the lead lap. That means the free pass went to the 19 of Zach Workman. So on that caution, we essentially got 2 drivers back on the lead lap, Zach Fritsch and Zach Workman. Welcome back to the race, boys. Let's see what you can do with this opportunity.
It's a big one, certainly for the 2 teammates. It works out perfectly for them. They both missed the wreck. They're both back on the lead lap, and their playoff runs. Well, obviously Zach Workman came in tonight with a 31-point buffer, but with stage points the way they have fallen tonight, that buffer has closed. Zach Fritsch, same thing. The buffer has closed. His buffer was only 11 points. It's a do-over, like I said earlier about Fritsch. It's another chance to go up there and potentially get a victory or a good run. Set yourself up nicely for next week.
Peter deBorja in the 40 coming back down pit road. Tops off the fuel tank. Not a bad call, and here's why. Nobody can make it on fuel from here. So you top off your fuel tank in case it is a green flag pit stop. you have to spend just that fraction of a second less on pit road than the rest of the drivers here who have not come down pit road. Not only that, but now you are back towards the tail end of the field. You can save even more fuel. And so you come down pit road, you are doing a literal splash and dash.
Oh, it certainly makes the end of the race a little bit easier. Obviously, now your plan's probably, like you said, to run the tank all the way out. I still think you could see some guys that decide to pit early and go right when the window opens. It obviously means your pit stop is still, perhaps even shorter because the window opens, in about 5 laps or so. You're really only going to probably be putting about 3/4 of a gallon in the truck. So whereas those guys that pit with 5 to go, they're going to still have to put 3 or 4 gallons in the truck. It's going to be just, 1/4 of a second longer. It's not that much, but it could decide the race ultimately. And so we'll see which strategy prevails. We'll see if anybody even tries to pit early. I don't know. I would, personally, just to get off cycle and hook up with, those teams that have more than 2-3 guys. I don't know. I think it's a better play personally, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think we see most of these guys come down pit road around lap 15, or I should say with 15 laps to go, 14 laps to go. That covers them for all of the green-white checkered attempts that we will need or use if we need them. As the green flag comes out once again, the 04 of Mark Mann, the 53 of Dave Hunt, the 95 of Jim Mayer. Oh, looky there, the 47 of Richard Kuhn, last week's race winner. Can he make it 2 in a row? He's right there in the thick of it.
On the wild card in this mess up here at the front is the 31 of Kacey Gilchrist. I think he's won on this track before. He knows how to get the job done. And being in the playoffs, a little bit extra to race for tonight for the 31. He's run a great race. He's put himself in position. I think he's the wild card driver here on this last run. But don't forget about Sean Makara. He's up here in this battle as well. Those two, like I said, they could really shake some things up with a victory here tonight. And they're in a good spot to get it done with 21 to go.
Yeah, if Sean Makara wins the race, I'm going to have to work really quickly and do some things because this driver, he's going to try and do everything he can to avoid me in victory lane. I'm going to track him down, though. So if he wins the race, just know we might have to take some evasive maneuvers.
Well, we'll certainly see. I can tell you who's making maneuvers right now, and that is the 88 of Gabe Butler. Where did he come from? All the way to the front with the help of Sebastian Marin. Here comes Gabe Butler. Oh, my goodness. All of a sudden, he's back in the picture for the win.
Remember, the plan was to get the 88, the race win, out of Peter deBorja's mouth. And Peter deBorja needed to gain as many points as he could. So here's Gabe Butler with 20 laps to go, taking over the race lead. I think this plan is coming to fruition. We'll see if it stays that way. But holy cow, how about this? They are looking like they are got this figured out.
Well, what a win it would be for Gabe Butler, obviously, and for that whole Boot Knocker organization because they've done everything they wanted to do so far tonight. They've got stage points for the 40. They've got the 88 in a good spot. And it will only leave the 25 of Freis next week as their sole goal if Gabe Butler goes to victory lane. Man, I you know what? Honestly, I wasn't sure they were going to be able to even have a shot to get that plan to fruition. But as the 88 takes the lead, now it becomes a very real possibility, and that's insane to think about.
Absolutely insane to think about, but here we are. Do want to point out that John Guerrero in the 59 has gone behind the wall. He has joined the 00 of Rob Connors. So that is 2 trucks out of the race. That leaves us with just 3 trucks on the track that are not on the lead lap. Sean Stevens, Anthony English, just 1 lap down. Sebastian Marin, multiple laps down. And Sebastian Marin being 7 laps down, he is really starting to look at the possibility of finishing in 26th spot. He is going to need drivers to start dropping out of the race here in the next 9 laps.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to happen either. Obviously, still a ways to go. But again, I think it was more just finish the race, see what you can get. But also, he's going to still get not a great amount of points, but an okay amount of points to at least maintain a buffer of some kind going into next week. Certainly not going to be in a must-win or anything severe like that. But his goal right now just to finish the race and help who he can here at the end of this one. And obviously what he gains is going to be even more benefit to him.
All right, so Butler in the 88 battling with the 53 of Dave Hunt. Gabe Butler really putting that truck in the right places. Man, earlier we saw him come down pit road. I thought that maybe was a mistake. It looks like he has figured it out way better than I ever could have.
Yeah, certainly. And I can't imagine it's going to be, I don't want to say easy. It's certainly not even easy for him the way it is right now, but I just don't want to, go ahead and count Gabe's chickens, if you will, because there are playoff guys very much in the hunt behind him that I think are just biding their time till this pit stop. And this pit stop could change everything. This execution on pit road could win or lose you the race. But guys like Makara, Gilchrist that we've talked about already, still very much in the hunt with one pit stop still going. Here it is for a lot of the field.
All right, here we go. 15 laps to go. Kind of on point with what I said. Start expecting these guys to hit pit road with 15, 16 laps to go. The 53 of Dave Hunt stays out, but the 88 of Gabe Butler peels off for pit road. Peter deBorja there as well. Mark Mann, Bubba Winningham, Travis Elliott, Zach Fritsch. Those guys all making pit stops. Your top 12 stay out. We'll see how this plays out. They all should come down pit road here on this lap. The 23 of Sebastian Marin being pushed hard by the 1 of Josh Ball. Josh Ball now the race leader.
Yeah, here they come off turn number 4. Let's see if they come to pit road. Everybody going to, yes, dive off the racetrack with the exception of Eric, Laurie, Sebastian Marin, Matt Wagner, and Sean Stevens. Laurie and Wagner, the only lead lap trucks not to hit pit road. Everybody else in for their final pit service.
All right, this will be the final pit stop for these drivers. They will have enough fuel to make it to the end of every single green-white checkered attempt if we need to use them. Gabe Butler in the 88. Let's check in on him. He's got a full head of steam as he comes off of turn number 4. And Butler right now into the tri-oval. Eric Laurie did not come down pit road. He is about 30 seconds ahead of Gabe Butler. However, Josh Ball in the 1. Well, it looks like he is going to be swallowed up by the 88.
Not even a contest here off turn number 2. So the lead pack is going to be led by Gabe Butler. Now the question is, this group with Makara and Gilchrist, they're going to blend. Will that second group blend? I'm talking the group with Richard Kuhn, Dave Hunt, Kody Neagles, Nate Warren, and others. Will they be able to get hooked up as these guys start to get racy? Because you know they will. And they're already starting. With them getting double file here, spreading out, will that next group back be able to maintain enough speed to get hooked up with this line of cars and get back to the leaders?
Eric Laurie, Matt Wagner, Jack's drop. They are down and away, but they will be swallowed up by the freight train. That is the 88 of Gabe Butler and the 12 of Zach Fritsch. Good to see that 12 make his way all the way back around. I'd rather be lucky than good sometimes, and here tonight, the 12 of Zach Fritsch, that luck has played into his favor, but I'll tell you what, you have to be good to take advantage of those situations, and here he is with the race lead. That lets you know that he is lucky and he is good here tonight. Y'all better watch out. Don't bet on, don't always bet on black, but white. So he's got it going on right now.
I can't even help you with that one. I'm not sure where that one was going, but I've been watching, trying to see if this second group led by Richard Kuhn, Dave Hunt, Kody Neagles can catch the tail end of our lead draft, and I'll tell you what, I think they have. So add some more players to this party here at the end, including some of our playoff 12, and this party's about to get a lot bigger. as Kody Neagles, Dave Hunt, Richard Kuhn, Peter deBorja, and others try to make their way back to the leaders inside of 15 laps to go.
Zach Fritsch, your race leader, going off into turn number 3. Gabe Butler in the 88. Down on the inside line, Jim Mayer in the 95, Markman in the 04. Alliance Motorsports in the second row. Zach Fritsch, however, along with Gabe Butler, those two are not teammates, so they have got to beware that the second row is Alliance Motorsports. And those guys, Alliance Motorsports always has a plan. They know how to handle each and every situation. They always seem to find a way to work together despite all the odds. So we will see what the 95 and the 04 can do. But Zach Fritsch, Gabe Butler, well-established race winners here on Monday night. They are no slouches, and they will handle each and every curveball that is thrown to them here tonight.
And another curveball coming in just now. It's not going to be just that lead group for the lead. We have an incorporated pack of, it looks to me like 21 lead lap trucks that are going to duel this one out, as that second group did manage to drive up to the front of the field and start to pick up spots. We'll see where they go. deBorja out to the outside. He's going to try to make the first noise up against the wall. He's coming forward, and look who jumps in front of him. Well, potentially jumps in front of him, yes. Kacey Gilchrist in the 31. How about Makara? He says, I'm going to match that as well. But, oh, this is going to get interesting, KR. Don't look now. Here comes the 44 of English. This is going to be interesting as these guys try to move around him.
Yeah, English in trouble with Anthony English in the 44. They have caught Sean Makara. Oh, I'm sorry, is that Sean Makara or Kacey Gilchrist? The 31. There it is. That is Kacey Gilchrist. And the yellow flag comes out, and holy cow, this is going to change a lot of things. The 44 was trying to stay out of the way. He went up to the high side, and that's all you can ask. Gilchrist in the 31. Tough break for the 31. I really thought he had a shot at this race win here tonight. Still might have that shot, but things just got a little bit harder for him.
It's just an unwinnable situation. Obviously, when they went out to the third line, they did not quite anticipate the 44 of Anthony English going that slow up against the wall. And just not, at this racetrack, there's just not much you can do. And the best effort there, just to try to squeeze down below the 44, didn't quite get there. And that's a tough break for several playoff guys once again, including, if you can believe this again, Kody Neagles and I believe Vicente Guerrero. The bad luck continues for those two trucks in the round of 12.
So Gabe Butler in the 88, your race leader. Zach Fritsch in the 12. In second, Jim Mayer in the 95 is third. Oh, 8 laps to go. What to do.
Well, I mean, fuel's out of the question, obviously, at least I think. You're going to be able to save enough here under this caution to be 100% good. You're probably not looking at the fuel gauge again once we go back green. But now you just decide, number one, what move are you going to make, and number two, who are you going to make it with. Obviously, the third line, I don't think it goes unused on this restart. Is looking back through the field, man, Butler and Fritsch, this is a great spot for them playoff-wise. The next playoff guys that I see are Sean Makara, Zach Workman, Pete deBorja, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So a buffer for these two up front to duke it out, but you know those guys further back, they're going to be coming forward here. But they got some work to do. They're going to have to claw from 5 rows back just to even get to the leaders. And getting to them is one thing. Getting past them to win the race, that's a whole different issue.
And you know what that means, though? Got to use that third lane.
I mean, coincidentally, it's guys that really like using the third lane. Workman, deBorja, we've seen Makara do it tonight. Vicente Guerrero, Adam Kilday is back there as well. It's guys all right around each other that are very comfortable out in that third line. So certainly would not expect them to be scared of it now. And now it's time to go and make your move. And it's a pretty good group of drivers, I would think, that are going to try to get lined up and move forward here with what's going to be, 6 laps to go. I think they don't have much time. They got to get up and go pretty quickly once we go back green.
All right, lights should go out on the pace truck this time around. Gabe Butler in the 88 and the 12 of Zach Fritsch stack up side by side. The 88 electing the outside lane here at the Bumpy Road 250, presented by Butt Kicker. And Anthony English, I know you won the stage, bud, but good grief. Seems like we never got the chance to talk to you tonight. Oh, I feel bad for the guy. The 44 of English wins stage 1, and then everything goes south from there.
Yeah, not the night that he wanted or needed, for that matter. 8 points below the cut line. The stage points help, but at the same time, finishing where he's maybe going to finish here. He's multiple laps down in 25th. I don't see him gaining much here with only 7 laps to go. It's not ideal for the driver of the 44. We'll see where he lines up when we get to the cutoff race next week at Daytona. But not the night he wanted after what was a very promising start, winning stage 1.
Absolutely. So now the first car 1 lap down. That is the 3 of Alex Green. As he is working his way to the tail end of this field, along with Kacey Gilchrist in the 31. So side by side, Dawson, these guys gonna get the green flag with 6 laps to go.
Yeah, and it's the 2 playoff rivals here on the front row, Butler and Fritsch, both of which need good nights, both of which could seriously benefit from a trip to victory lane. The guys behind them trying to spoil the party, Markman, Jim Mayer, and others. And then Makara, deBorja, Kilday, Workman, and the rest of the playoff field trying to spoil these 2 up front. 6 laps to go. Green flag is back in the air. We are back underway once again. It's a great start at the bottom for Zach Fritsch. He did not have control of the restart, but gets going regardless. Fritsch, his best restart of the night at the best time possible. How much does Jim Mayer have for him here in the 95 in 1 and 2? Drag race for the lead up in 1 and 2 as playoff guys start to get formed up a little bit further back.
Zach Fritsch in the 12 could use a race win here to lock himself in. Remember, Richard Kuhn won the race last week. That was our first round in the championship 12, so none of our drivers are locked in. Zach Fritsch, Gabe Butler, they would love to have this win here tonight and become the first driver locked in to the championship 8.
Well, it'd be a great spin of momentum. It also would be a great spin of momentum in the case that neither of these guys have won so far this season. It would be their first win on the year, so certainly would be a nice change of pace for them to finally get to victory lane, finally get that pressure off, and be able to race next week a little bit more conservative, if you will. Oh, Zach Fritsch gets turned. He goes sideways, but he saves it. Unfortunately, though, he's going to lose a lot of ground in track position.
Blends in.
He gets it done, but he's going to be way off the pace. So let's see if he can keep the draft.
Yeah, Zach Fritsch slow there, and I don't think he's going to be able to keep that draft.
Maybe trouble up in the front, over street. Workman, others spinning sideways, and caution is out inside of 5 laps to go.
Peter deBorja involved, Bubba Winningham, Nate Warren. All these guys involved in this caution. Zach Fritsch maybe came out on top of that situation.
Maybe slightly. I'll tell you what, the most stressful moment of the night for Gabe Butler. I thought for sure he was going to go sideways in front of the entire field. coming on at full speed. Luckily for him, he gets it righted somehow and is able to maintain the race lead, but a melee there at the front of the field that results in several more playoff drivers with problems.
Yeah, Gabe Butler here trying to back this up because a lot was going on. All right, here we go. Gabe Butler in the 88 in front of the field. Slides up to the outside lane. Has that contact, and then everyone behind becomes involved in it. On board with Travis Elliott. And you can just see that accordion effect as everything starts to play out.
It started with that moment up at the front with Gabe Butler, and yeah, I think he probably gets the best benefit out of this. The fact that, number one, he maintains lead, but number two, also, he didn't end up wrecked. I still have no idea how he did not wreck this truck in this incident, but somehow, and then obviously the accordion's back further, collects some more guys further back, and we end up wrecking the tri-oval. But man, Gabe Butler, that's a white knuckle moment right there for the driver of the 88.
deBorja in the 40 just trying to pick his way through this one. Hard impacts for that 40 machine. Oh boy. All right, so I think we have our first attempt at a green-white checkered. And so the 88 out in front. Travis Elliott in the 51, not a championship contender. Josh Ball not battling for the championship, but these guys would love nothing more than to win the race here tonight. So Dawson, you're Gabe Butler in the 88. You know you have a green-white checkered attempt here. All you have to do is get to the white flag to try and secure this thing. But then once you get to that white flag, you have to go 2.5 miles on one of the bumpiest super speedways you can imagine.
Yeah, but I feel like the adrenaline starts to get pumping a little bit. You start to forget about the bumps and focus ahead. Man, for Gabe Butler, this is a crucial moment. It looks like he's going to select the bottom for this restart. Interesting decision. I figured he would stay in the middle. Been the dominant line that we've seen all night, but regardless, goes to the bottom. Gonna have Josh Ball behind him, and if you're Butler here, this is a gut check moment. You got 2 laps to secure your first win of the season and the first spot in the round of 8. After a night that's gone your way for the most part, but he's, again, not going to go without competition here. He's got guys behind him that want that spot. Sean Makara, Vicente Guerrero, Adam Kilday running in 9th right now. They're going to try to do everything they can here to deny the 88 this victory, and we'll see who goes where. It's going to be very interesting. You got to go now if you're one of those playoff guys that's further back.
So the lights are out on the Chevy Silverado. Gabe Butler, Travis Elliott for row number 1 on this restart. And then it's Josh Ball and Sean Makara, row number 2. The 95 of Jim Mayer on the inside of row number 3, with the 11 of Matt Wagner to the outside. Oh, and looky there, the 14 of the Italian Stallion finding himself in striking distance. Vicente Guerrero has had a race he would much rather forget up until this point. If he can pull off a race win, this will be an outstanding story for the 14 of Vicente Guerrero.
He's got a hurdle to jump first here off turn number 4, and that's he's got to get up. He has to get off the bottom lane. He's not going to win from the inside of row 4. So First hurdle for him is get off the bottom. From there, you find a dance partner and you just try to hang it all out there. And hopefully, if you're the driver of the 14, you get somebody that's willing to go with you. And here we go. This can get really interesting. Playoff guys all throughout the field, all different stories, but it all starts behind Gabe Butler. Green flag, green white checkered attempt number 1. Butler clear of his teammate. Does he go up in front of Elliott? Yes, he does. The 88 now controls the race. Who makes the first move? Down to 1. Butler leads by a truck length.
Gabe Butler and the 88 into turn number 1 with the advantage, but here comes Josh Ball in the number 1 machine on the inside. We've seen this inside line time and time again perform better through the corners, but the outside lane surges on the straightaways.
Third line coming further back, make it 7 rows. Kacey Gilchrist, Peter deBorja, Kody Neagles, Sebastian Marin trying to make it work. Gabe Butler continuing to lead for now. Who makes the first move of this front pack? Let's make it a 10-truck breakaway here at the front. Ball with a nice push from Jim Mayer. He goes to the lead, but here we go. 2.5 miles to decide it. Who makes the first move? White flag from Daytona.
White flag in the air, final time around. Gabe Butler in a must-win situation if they would like to see Kevin Freis make the championship. Here we go, the 88 of Butler on the outside, running tight to the 1 of Josh Ball. Contact door to door right there on turn 2.
You got to think Makara goes somewhere. He goes to the top. Now he goes back to the middle, hangs Travis Elliott out. Now Makara is in the driver's seat. If he can get clear, but they have no help. Gabe Butler goes backwards in a hurry. It's falling apart for the 88 and 3.
He has no help in that middle lane except for the 71 of Sean Makara. Now Matt Wagner with a big wiggle. Josh Ball tried to make a block. He is now forced to 3 wide. That could have been all that Josh Ball had, but no, Jim Mayer is going to come away with the race lead. Vicente Guerrero in the top 5, and Gabe Butler ends up in second, but your race winner is the 95 of Jim Mayer, and man, was that a tight run to the finish.
What an ending. You see a wreck happen further back. That picked up some playoff guys. Jim Mayer spoils the Bootnaka party. Gabe Butler, I thought for sure, was in the best spot. Jim Mayer denies him the opportunity. Butler 1 spot short. And all of a sudden, the plan falls apart in the last 100 feet of the race.
All right, let's take a quick look at our race results here. Jim Mayer, Gabe Butler, Josh Ball, your top 3. We're going to talk to them here in just a moment. Vicente Guerrero in 4th, and Travis Elliott rounding out your top 5.
Adam Kilday in 6th. What a run for the 85. He needed the points tonight. He got them. Same for Sean Makara in 7th. Matt Wagner in 8th. Zach Fritsch finishes 9th, and Dave Hunt rounds out the top 10.
11th goes to Kacey Gilchrist, Eric Laurie 12th, 13th Richard Kuhn, Nate Warren 14th, 15th goes to Jimmy Reynolds, Peter deBorja in 16th, and that one was yours.
Oh, you can just finish out the top 20. We'll do it that way.
All right, David Overstreet 17th, 18th goes to Les Levy, Bubba Winningham 19th, and Alex Green 20th, and you got it from here.
Sean Stevens 21st, Mark Mann 22nd, and then a few playoff drivers that, man, that's not the run they wanted. Kody Neagles 23rd, Zach Workman 24th, Anthony English 25th, and Sebastian Marin 26th. And rounding out the field, John Guerra and Rob Connors. But man, those 4 playoff drivers, 23rd through 26th, their buffers are gone, and now that cut line, man, it's gonna be really interesting.
Oh, going to be very interesting. But let's go ahead and talk to our race winner, the 95 of Jim Mayer, as he is celebrating on the front stretch. Jim, you got your ears on, bud?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, that 95 won the race.
Yeah, I don't know how. Yeah, I was content there sticking with whoever's in front of me and Josh, and he went for the block there, and I'll take the win, but I was content pushing whoever was there.
Well, man, this 95, always a threat to win a super speedway race here on Monday nights. But wow, what an opportune time for you to win this race, because you picked up the win earlier this season in race number 12 at Daytona, and here you are picking up another win. So that's 2 this season for you.
Yeah, a little too late. We're out of the hunt for the championship, but that's all right. We'll always take a win. Probably my least favorite track, but I seem to always manage to have a good finish at this track somehow. So we'll take it. It's always exciting to win. Of course, pretty bummed the last caution where I was pushing the 12 there. I wanted to help him and end up sending him off track. So pretty bummed about that. But move on and try to help him out next week.
The 12 of Zach Fritsch?
Yeah, I got him loose there.
No one cares about him.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, I got him loose and got him off track there and out of the hunt for the win. So that's my fault. So I owe him one.
All right, man. Well, we know you always try to race clean. Zach Fritsch, we know he always tries to race clean as well. So I'm sure he'll appreciate the apology.
I think until after the start-finish line, I had a 0x. So that's more exciting to me than a win. Finishing with a 0x is pretty tough nowadays. So that's more exciting than actually winning.
Well, there you go, man. Well, nice job, Jim. Yeah, shout-outs, thank yous. Anything you need to say here tonight?
Well, of course, the guys, the Alliance running with Jimmy and Mark there, and then having a combined team with Zach and Zach. So shout out to those guys. Same mentality. We're out having fun and just trying to race clean. So thanks to those guys for running with me, and all the guys at OP's putting these races on, and of course you guys up in the booth putting on the show.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it. And Jim, nice job out here tonight.
Thanks.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The 95 of Jim Mayer, your race winner, getting it done out here tonight. But now let's move on to our second place finisher, and that is the driver of the 88. And Dawson, I believe you have caught up with Gabe Butler.
I have. Hey, Gabe, it's the boys in the booth. You got a copy?
I do, gentlemen. How's it going?
Well, it's going pretty well. You come home second tonight. Man, what a roller coaster of a last lap. Just kind of take us through that run of the finish and coming up there just a couple feet short.
Yeah, it was a little crazy. I thought Josh might have stayed in the bottom there. He had a good pusher behind him, but I don't know if he got pushed up or decided to go up, and I didn't really have a choice but to go around him and try and go for the win. But and I knew Travis was on the outside. He was running with us tonight, so we gave it a shot. We got P2 though, and we got a decent stage points in the second stage, so we'll take it.
Well, absolutely, you'll take it. And now we move forward to Daytona next week. You needed a good run tonight. You got a good run. Like you said, you got some stage points, so I got to imagine you're in a good point spot. As for the team plan, we heard a little bit from Peter earlier after the second stage. How does this affect that plan going into next week, knowing now that Kevin is going to be racing? He's got to win, but also that you've got a couple guys that aren't necessarily locked in.
Yeah, I mean, we've just kind of got to put ourselves in a position, and then whoever's in the best position, get that driver the most points or the win if possible. I mean, that's the way I'm going to view it. So I know Kevin definitely needs to win, but if for some reason he ends up back in the field and me and Peter are up there, we'll do what we got to do to push each other or get us in a spot to get some points. But we'll just see how it plays out.
Absolutely. We'll see how it goes next week. While we have you here for a second, anybody want to thank or shout out for that second place effort?
Yeah, just shout out to the guys I was running with tonight in Team Boudenocker, Peter, Eric, and Travis. And, OP for putting this on. It's a blast. A bit late at night, but it's a blast. And, of course, you guys in the booth. It's always fun going back watching it, so can't wait to listen to the commentary on this one.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us. Congrats on that second place effort, and we'll see you next week.
All right, guys. Thank you.
All right, there you have it. That is Gabe Butler, driver of the 88, our second place finisher here tonight. But now let's move on to our third place finisher, and that is the number 1 of Josh Ball. Josh, you got your ears on, bud?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, man. Well, I'll tell you what, Josh, that was a wild green, white, checkered finish for you.
Yeah, you know, we had the lead coming off of 4, and just made the wrong decision on. Like, I saw the 88 coming, and he had a push, but then the time I decided to commit to go in front of him, it looked like behind him dissolved. So I should have just stayed with the 95. Yeah, you live and you learn.
Well, you know, you say you live and you learn, but how do you predict what's going to happen behind you?
Yeah, you can't really. I mean, I should have just waited a little longer, or like last week, you know, I was able to push the guy to the win on the bottom. And I was like, I probably should just commit to the bottom. And I was trying to just make it so the 95 couldn't get up in front of him. And I had that off 4 and should have just stayed to what I thought. And oh, well, you know, P3 at 2 of those 2 weeks in a row. So pretty good.
Well, Josh, a solid run here, bringing it home in 3rd place. And man, I'll tell you what, that number 1 had a very quiet race right up until the end.
Yeah, we were up and down, and we were in the back, and we're kind of just around. And then we got a unsafe pit entry on 1 caution. And so we were just battling back and ended up there, and same position as last week. It was like 2nd to last caution. I was in 8th, and then I was in 3rd, the same as last week, and then same thing, finished 3rd. So,
all right, man. Well, nice job out here tonight. Shout outs, thank yous that you'd like to give.
Yeah, just all the guys here at OP, and you guys putting on the broadcast. It's been fun each week, and see you guys next week.
All right, that is Josh Ball, driver of the number 1. Finishing in the 3rd and final step of the podium here tonight. Dawson, this one is done and over with. Final thoughts here before we sign out?
It was another great race. I had a little bit of everything. This playoffs has been wild, to say the least. I think that's an understatement. And going into next week, well, I'd see how the points shake out. At least from just a quick glance I gave it, it's going to be awfully close right around that cut line. And obviously, you add the factors of Vicente Guerrero and Kevin Freis. Well, Vicente maybe not in a must-win now. Kevin Freis will be, though, and Anthony English might be as well. That's 2 guys you're going to want to keep an eye on in a must-win position. So next week's going to be even more crazy as we cut the field from 12 to 8. I can't wait.
All right, next week is the final race in the Championship 12. None of our championship contenders are locked in as far as I can tell. So it is going to be a wild one for sure. So make sure you tune in for that. So guys, until next week, thank you very much for joining us. We hope to see you on next Monday night. Dawson wants to see you on Thursday night. You can watch him race on Wednesday night, and I'll be on the microphone. It's whatever. It's cool. I don't care. Either way, guys, we hope to see you then. Have a great night. We'll see you next time.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.